A child doesn't come with a price tag. But if it did, it might say something like $400,000. And that's before college. So the real question is simple. Where does all that money actually go? Here's the problem nobody really explains. The cost of raising a child isn't one big, obvious expense. It's not like buying a house or a car where you see the number upfront. Instead, it's thousands of small expenses spread out over nearly 2 decades. And because they're spread out, they don't feel overwhelming in the moment. You pay for things step by step, month by month, year by year. But when you zoom out and look at the total, it becomes one of the biggest financial commitments most people will ever make. If someone asked you to pay $400,000 upfront to have a child, you'd probably pause and ask a lot more questions. But because the cost is hidden in time, most people never fully process it. Let's start with the early years. Everyone expects diapers and baby clothes. That part isn't surprising, but those are just the visible costs. The real expenses start stacking up in ways people don't anticipate. Childcare is one of the biggest ones. Depending on where you live, it can feel like a second rent payment. Then there are medical expenses, even with insurance. Add to that furniture like cribs, strollers, car seats, items that are expensive, used for a relatively short time, and constantly replaced as the child grows. But there's a cost that's even bigger and almost invisible: lost income. In many families, one parent reduces working hours or steps away from work entirely. That's not just money you're spending, it's money you're no longer earning. And over several years, that gap can quietly grow into something significant. Babies don't just cry at night, they also quietly drain your bank account during the day. Now fast forward a few years. The child grows, and so do the expenses. Food becomes more expensive, clothes need constant replacement, school supplies, activities, sports, birthdays, all of it adds up. But something more subtle happens during this phase. Your entire lifestyle begins to shift. You might move into a bigger apartment, choose a safer neighborhood, pay more for access to better schools. These decisions feel logical and responsible, but financially, they can multiply your living costs. Kids don't need luxury, but somehow, your expenses upgrade anyway. Then there are the hidden costs, the ones almost nobody talks about. Opportunity cost is one of the biggest. When you have a child, your approach to money changes. You become more careful, more focused on stability. You might avoid taking risks you would have taken before. Maybe you delay starting a business. Maybe you pass on a career opportunity that feels uncertain. Maybe you choose safety over growth again and again. Individually, those decisions seem small, but over 10 or 15 years, they can cost more than any diaper, school fee, or grocery bill. Because it's not just about what you spend, it's about what you don't earn. The biggest cost of parenting is often invisible. So what do you actually do with this information? The goal isn't to panic or overthink every decision, it's to become aware and intentional. First, build some financial margin before you need it. Life with a child becomes less stressful when you're not operating at your financial limit. Second, think in phases. The early years, the middle years, and the teenage years all come with different types of expenses. Planning for each stage separately makes the overall cost feel more manageable. Third, don't completely sacrifice your own financial growth. Keep investing, keep building skills, keep looking for ways to increase your income over time, because your future still matters, even when you're focused on someone else. You don't need perfect finances to become a parent, but you do need awareness. When you step back and look at the big picture, the pattern becomes clear. Raising a child is expensive not because of one dramatic cost, but because of constant spending, lifestyle expansion, and reduced financial flexibility. It's not one big bill. It's a long series of small decisions that quietly add up over time. So here's something worth thinking about. Is parenting expensive? Or is it just misunderstood when it comes to money? If you enjoy content about real-life financial decisions and how they shape your future, consider subscribing. And I'm curious, what do you think is the most underestimated cost of having a child?